A very good afternoon and thank you for joining us on BeeTv News Updates at 3. I'm Ruth Obodo and now the news in detail. The Special Assistant to President Tinubu on Capacity Development has reiterated the federal government's commitment to strengthening human capital and institutional capacity as vital pillars of Nigeria's economic transformation. He made this known while hosting the director of the Division for Prosperity at the United Nations Institute for Training and Research, Miyoko Kumamoto, during a special dinner in Abuja to mark her first official visit to Nigeria. The presidential aide described the visit as a strategic milestone in strengthening collaboration between the federal government of Nigeria and UNITA. In line with the President Bola Tinubu renewed hope agenda, he explained that the partnership with UNITA is anchored on the shared belief that sustainable development begins with investing in people.
Transformation. Our collaboration with UNITA is anchored on a shared belief that sustainable development begins with people.
Madam Amina Mohammed, she is the one who connected between Sadiq and UNITA, and also another inspiring woman. Her name is Michelle Giles McDonald. She is UNITA's executive director.
The scale of Nigeria is very important. We're talking about 36 states, 700 plus local government areas. And we should be on the ground everywhere to ensure that the hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is felt in every corner.
Mr. President Aswaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he appointed different senior special assistants in order to assist him in achieving the renewed hope agenda, which is a national comprehensive document.
A renewed drive for electoral reform is gaining momentum at the National Assembly as the state debates and passes the Electoral Act Amendment B for second reading. During the session, lawmakers highlighted key issues including electoral violence, independent candidacy and the use of technology in elections, and the need to address gaps and oversights in Nigeria's existing electoral framework. The report.
The session was marked by robust discussion and thoughtful reflection as senators debated the amendment of the Electoral Act. The bill aims to repeal the 2022 Electoral Act and introduce a more comprehensive framework designed to enhance transparency, integrity, and credibility in Nigeria's electoral process. Senators contributed widely across key reform areas, advocating for tougher penalties, increased independence for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and clearer provision on contentious issues such as the electronic transmission of results and the eligibility of independent candidates.
It also tends to reduce the influence of money in our electoral system by regulating campaign finances.
I think it was a very important omission, and we should try as much as possible to bring all elected members into the delegate list.
Areas of concerns like electronic transmission of votes, real time, and independent candidature will put checks to all the excesses.
The bill, which also prescribes stiffer penalties for vote buying and electoral offences, is seen as part of efforts to restore voter confidence and strengthen Nigerians' democracy ahead of 2027 general elections.
We have had improvements upon improvements, but we think we are not yet there. It's not yet perfect, and therefore we'll do our best to ensure that we craft the kind of amendments that will help us to almost get to the El Dorado.
As the bill moves to the committee stage, lawmakers say the goal is not to amend the law but to build trust in Nigerians' elections one reform at a time. Zainab Mohammed reporting for BeeTv News.
The leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has just informed the Federal High Court that he will be representing himself as his own lawyer in opening his defense in the ongoing terrorism trial against him. This development follows the withdrawal of his lead counsel, Kanu Agbabi, and other senior advocates from his legal team. Additionally, Mr. Kanu declined the offer of the court-appointed legal representation when a trial judge, Justice James Omotosho, proposed it. The fire's coordinated assault in recent months, troops of Operation Andikai successfully repelled multiple terrorists across Borno and Yobe states. The nighttime attack were met with overwhelming firepower both on the ground and from the air, delivering a heavy and decisive blow to the terrorists. Between midnight and 4 a.m. on Thursday, terrorists launched a series of coordinated attacks on troops positioned in Dikwa, Mafa, and Galibu and Kata communities spread across Benue and Yobe states. But the renewed spirit of the troops, backed by air support from the Nigeria Air Force component, ensured that the insurgents were overpowered and more than 50 terrorists neutralized in the process. Recovered from the battlefield were 38 AK-47 rifles, 7 PKT machine guns, 5 rocket-propelled generator tubes, 2 general-purpose machine guns, and thousands of rounds of ammunition. Field intelligence revealed that the attacks who struck in Dekwa and Gajibu infiltrated from the Cameroon axis, while those who eat cattle emerged from the notorious Timbuktu Triangle, a long-time terrorist enclave. Some gallant soldiers sustained injuries during the various encounters, while terrorists also developed drones and RPGs, setting parts of a defense ablaze in Mafa. And despite the temporary breach, troops rallied back, forcing the insurgents to retreat. Military authorities say over 70 wooden fighters are still being pursued by ground forces in close coordination with air components. The defense headquarters has held the courage, doggedness, and professionalism of the troops, stressing that the latest victory is proof of the military's renewed charge and resolve to secure the Northeast. But more boosts on ground and critical combat enablers develop in the theater. The military says it remains resolute to defending Algeria's territorial integrity. For many in the Northeast, the latest feat is a reminder that despite the odds, the fight against insurgency is far from lost. In an effort to deepen diplomatic and economic relations, Nigeria and South Africa are conducting their inaugural political consultations in Abuja. The meeting seeks to enhance cooperation and promote development initiatives across Africa. The report.
Nigeria and South Africa share one of the Africa's most strategic bilateral relationships, grounded in decades of partnership in trade, peacekeeping, and continental leadership. However, the relationship has experienced strain due to the ongoing ill treatment of Nigerians in South Africa, often without justice. During the inaugural political consultation in Abuja, co-chaired by the representative Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Nigeria's minister raised concern over this issue with the South African counterparts.
Nigeria remains firmly committed to expanding and consolidating its strategic partnership with South Africa. We particularly value cooperation in infrastructure development, in capacity building in the mining sector, and professional certification for Nigerian geologists and related experts.
We agreed at that 11th session of the BNC that we need to strengthen collaboration in digital connectivity, artificial intelligence, and innovation, and also position both these two nations as leaders in Africa's technological transformation.
The meeting also provided an opportunity to review progress in trade, investments, defense, and cultural exchange, while reaffirming a shared commitment to peace, stability, and sustainable development under the framework of the United Nations and the African Union, as the two countries signed an MOU. The MOU focused on earlier warning mechanisms to strengthen communication, improve response to emerging issues, and prevent future misunderstanding between the two countries. Other highlights of the meeting include the Niger-South African Mineral Partnership Agreement, designed to boost investments in technology transfer, and the Air Traffic and Navigation Service signed earlier this year. Both countries are also simplifying visa processes for business travelers to enhance trade and mobility. They commended progress in cultural cooperation through the audiovisual agreement, which supports joint film production and creative industry growth. The ministers expressed readiness for the G20 Africa meeting on industrialization and agriculture holding in Abuja on November 3rd, which will project African priorities in global economic discussions. Fifu Kolawole reporting for BeeTv News.
And now to the business news. Nigeria imported about 15.01 billion liters of premium motor spirits petrol between August 2024 and the first 10 days of October 2025, representing 69% of the total national petrol supply during the period, according to data from the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. Total PMS supply for the 15-month period stood at 21.68 billion liters, with 6.67 billion liters, that's 31%, sourced from domestic refineries. Let's join BeeTv News Amoni Agba for more details from the business world.
The data titled Imports versus Domestic Supply Performance Daily Average Supply August 2024 to October 2025 highlighted a gradual rise in local refining output and a corresponding decline in import dependence. Imported petrol averaged 44.60 million liters per day in August 2024 and increased to 54.30 million liters per day in September 2024, marking the peak of import reliance during the period. This coincided with the commencement of petrol production at the Dangote refinery in September 2024. Shell Energy Nigeria has called for increased collaboration between international oil companies and indigenous operators to accelerate gas development and establish the resource as a foundation for Nigeria's industrial growth. At the third Gas Investment Forum held in Lagos, Shell stressed the importance of policy consistency, infrastructure expansion, and partnership-driven models to unlock the nation's gas potential. The company emphasized that IOCs contribute international expertise, capital strength, and technical capacity, while indigenous operators offer local insight and operational flexibility. Shell noted that effective partnerships should also enhance domestic capacity in engineering, supply chain, and operations and maintenance. The managing director of Shell Nigeria Gas, Ralph Bobo, stated that the company is investing in gas infrastructure to support industries and increase access. SNG is currently developing gas hubs in Port Harcourt, Aba, Ota, and Yenogwa, with plans for further expansions. The Nigerian Export-Import Bank, Nexim Bank, has revealed that the Southwest region contributes about 60% of Nigeria's total non-oil export value. This was disclosed by the Managing Director of Nexim Bank, Abba Bello, represented by the head of the Lagos Regional Office, Daniela Jarikre Kazobo, at the Lagos edition of the Export Readiness and Market Access Excel program, themed Empowering MSMEs for Export Opportunities. The program, organized by Nexim Bank in partnership with GIZ, aims to address challenges faced by micro, small, and medium enterprises, MSMEs, in export trade. In September 2025, the country generated 3.65 trillion naira, representing a 411% increase compared to May 2023. Nexim Bank highlighted that Nigeria has over 41 million MSMEs, accounting for 97% of registered businesses, contributing 48% to GDP and employing 88% of the workforce. The Lagos State government has launched the Omi Eco project, a large-scale initiative aimed at transforming the state's transportation system through sustainable water mobility. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu unveiled the project at the 5 Cowries terminal in Falomo, Lagos Island, describing it as a milestone in the city's mobility and environmental management strategy. Valued at 410 million euros, the project includes plans to deploy over 75 electric-powered ferries, dredge and upgrade 15 ferry routes, and build or refurbish 25 terminals. The initiative is designed to transport over 25 million passengers annually. The Omi Eco project, translates as Water of Lagos, aims to integrate the state's waterways into a modern, efficient, and eco-friendly transport network. It seeks to reduce road congestion, cut carbon emissions, and promote innovation in urban transport. And that's all from the business news. Harmony Agbafo reporting for BeeTv News.
Across the African continent, health systems are facing increasing pressure from multiple challenges, including climate change, disease outbreaks, and the rising burden of chronic illnesses. Experts at the 2025 Gates Health Summit emphasized that immediate action is necessary to build resilience and safeguard the continent's health future. The report.
From the deadly outcome like Ebola and COVID-19 to the silent pandemic of non-communicable diseases such as hypertension and diabetes, Africa's health system are struggling to cope in our continent. Experts say resilient health systems form the backbone of healthy societies, are capable of absorbing, adapting and recovering from health emergencies while maintaining essential care. But data reveals the gaps are still wide, with over 10 million people pushed into poverty every year by healthcare costs.
Our health systems need resilience. We need to fix the primary healthcare system, not just in Nigeria, but in Africa alone. We need to build pandemic preparedness because Lassa fever is on the rise. We also need to ensure that our medicines need resilience. We have a lot of people that are suffering from antimicrobial resistance.
A lot of different lifestyle factors now are making everybody will be wondering, why are the statistics going up? Why is it increasing? You hardly talk to someone and they don't know someone that has cancer, unlike before. That is something that is a little alien.
Stakeholders at the summit are now seeking stronger collaborations among African nations to build sustainable systems to protect every citizen by investing in health, workforce infrastructure, scaling up innovation for service delivery, and strengthening community preparedness.
Average spend per year on a Nigerian is $5 per year. That's for each of us here, the government spending $5 each. When you take that to Europe, it is about $4,500 per person. When you move that to Switzerland, it's about $12,000 per person that has been spent on healthcare. And even Kenya, that is like, another African country that's comparatively 66. That means even Kenya spends 10 times more than the Nigerian government spends on healthcare per person, even though it's very low.
One of the things we'll be doing today is thinking about how do we reshape, food systems so that it works better for everyone and not just a few. And how do we also look at our environment and how it influences how people come down with non-communicable diseases.
With African population projected to exceed 1.5 billion by 2030, experts warn that without immediate action, health shocks will continue to be reverse development gains. Favor Kolawole reporting for BeeTv News.
South Africa's outsourcing industry is rapidly expanding, creating thousands of jobs in finance, IT, and customer support as overseas firms seek skilled English-speaking workers at lower cost. Accountant Esetu Diwili is among those benefiting, saying international work has allowed him to support his family and build them a home. The sector now contributes 35 billion rand and $2 billion and £1 billion annually to the economy and employs more than 70,000 people in the Western Cape alone, while experts warn that educational gaps and rural infrastructure could limit further growth. Many young South Africans see outsourcing as a rare path to stable, well-paid careers. And now to entertainment news. Nollywood actress Nkechi Blessing has sparkled controversy after a clash with colleague Liz Anoji. The dispute began when Liz took offense as a light-hearted promotional video for Nkechi's new movie, which mentioned several celebrities. Also, Cameroonian singer and entrepreneur Desha has weighed in on reports of tension between Regina Daniel and her husband. Let's join BeeTv News Evelyn Izibili for more details from the entertainment world.
Nollywood actress Nkechi Blessing has stirred social media after clashing with her colleague Liz Anjorin. What began as a simple promotional video for Nkechi's new movie turned chaotic when Liz took offense at being mentioned. Nkechi's light-hearted video, which referenced several celebrities including Liz, Iyabo, Very Dark Man and Portable, was misinterpreted by Liz Anjorin, who retaliated harshly, even invoking Nkechi's late mother in her response. Nkechi later fired back, stating she's not scared of Liz but is merely trying to avoid jail. In another development, Cameroonian singer and entrepreneur Densia has shared her thoughts on the ongoing controversy surrounding Regina Daniels and her billionaire husband, Senator Ned Nwoko. Following reports of troubles in her marriage, Densia criticized young women marrying older men for wealth or comfort. Using Regina's situation as reference, she questioned why young women would give their youth and potential to elderly partners. Densia also expressed disbelief over rumors that Regina was being mistreated, saying she would never tolerate such behavior in her own life. A young lady has taken to social media to share her disappointment after her friend, who copied her CV and covered letter format, landed 2 job interviews in 1 week. The woman revealed on X, formerly Twitter, that she had shared her documents to her friend but was shocked when her friend started getting interview invites, while she, despite months of job applications, received none. The post has sparked debate online about luck, timing, and the role of presentation versus content in job hunting. Caitlyn Jenner reunited with ex-wife Kris Jenner and their children during the season 7 premiere of The Kardashians on October 23rd. This marks Caitlyn's first on-screen appearance with the Kardashians Jenner family in 4 years. The reunion took place at Kris' farewell gathering at their former Hidden Hills mansion, which she had put up for sale. The home, named El Dorado Meadow, was once shared by the former couple and featured prominently on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Fans were emotional seeing the family together again, reflecting on their shared past and evolving relationship. Evelyn Isabella reporting for BeeTv News.
And now to sports. Hugo Ekitike netted against his old side as Liverpool stormed back from an early setback to crush Eintracht Frankfurt in a commanding Champions League display, ending their 4-game losing streak in emphatic fashion. The Reds had begun the season with 7 straight wins in all competitions, but had recently stumbled, suffering 4 successive defeats, including a disheartening loss to rivals Manchester United in the Premier League. Early signs in Germany suggested their poor form might continue, with former Leeds defender Ramos Christensen putting Frankfurt ahead. However, Liverpool responded with intensity. And that'll be all on our 3 p.m. news updates. Join us later on our 6 p.m. major news. Thank you. I am Ruth Obodo.